I was standing in my parents' dining room, the smell of roasted chicken still in the air, when my mother slammed the envelope onto the table so hard the plates rattled. "It's done," she said, not even looking at me. "I transferred your wedding fund to your brother. He deserves it more than you." My vision tunneled. My throat burned. My fingers went numb around the binder I'd carefully organized with every venue quote, vendor receipt, and payment timeline. Across the room, my brother Cullen leaned back in his chair, arms folded behind his head, a smug grin spreading across his face like he'd just won a competition I never agreed to join. And beside me, my fiancé scraped his chair back and stood up. Slowly, deliberately, his jaw clenched so tight I could see the muscle pulse. My heart thundered in my chest. I felt the betrayal in my stomach first, heavy, swirling, acidic. My mother didn't blink, didn't explain, didn't apologize. She just crossed her arms and waited as if I was the unreasonable one. This is the moment everything in my life cracked open. My name is Riley, and the moment my mother took away the money I had saved for 2 years for my wedding, she didn't just sabotage a ceremony. She sabotaged her relationship with her only daughter, something I didn't fully understand until much later. What happened that day didn't start with money. It started with a lifetime of being told to shrink so my brother could shine. If you've ever had a family member choose the wrong person over you, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. Trust me, you'll want to see how this ends. The silence after Mum's announcement felt like drowning. Culla's smirk widened. Dad sat frozen at the head of the table, fork halfway to his mouth, saying nothing. Oven's hand found mine under the table, squeezing so hard my knuckles cracked. I couldn't breathe. 2 years of planning. 2 years of saving every spare dollar from my marketing job. 2 years of carefully choosing flowers and fonts and the perfect ivory dress hanging in my closet. Gone, just like that. "Mum," I finally whispered, my voice cracking. "That money was for my wedding. You promised it was mine." She waved her hand dismissively, like she was swatting away a fly. "Cullen needs it more. He's starting a business. You have Oven, you'll be fine." Cullen leaned forward, elbows on the table. "Yeah, Riley, stop being so dramatic. It's just a party." Something inside me snapped, not loudly, not violently, just a quiet, clean break. I looked at my mother directly. "Why would you do this to me?" She met my eyes without flinching. "Because you don't deserve what he does." The room tilted. Oven's chair scraped backward as he stood, towering over the table. His voice came out low and dangerous. "Say that again." Mum's face hardened. "You heard me. Riley has always had everything easy. Good grades, stable job, nice fiancé. Cullen has struggled. He needs support." Oven's hands curled into fists at his sides. "She worked for everything she has. She didn't get handed anything." Cullen laughed, actually laughed. "Come on, man, she's got you. You're loaded, just pay for the wedding yourself." My stomach dropped. I'd never told Cullen about Oven's family money. Never. Which meant Mum had been talking about us behind my back. Oven's jaw tightened. "That's not the point. The money was Riley's. Her mother promised it to her." Mum stood up, napkin thrown onto her plate. "I'm her mother. I decide what's best for my children. Cullen needs this opportunity." Dad finally spoke, voice weak. "Maybe we should discuss this calmly." "There's nothing to discuss," Mum snapped. "It's already done." Oven turned to me, his voice dropping to a whisper meant only for my ears. "Riley, we need to leave. Now." I nodded, numb. We walked out without another word. Behind us, Cullen called out, "Thanks for understanding, sis." I didn't look back. The car ride home was suffocating. Oven gripped the steering wheel so hard his knuckles turned white. I sat perfectly still, staring at the streetlights blurring past, tears streaming silently down my face. We didn't speak. What was there to say? My own mother had just stolen from me and looked me in the eye while doing it. When we pulled into our apartment building's parking lot, Oven finally turned off the engine. The silence pressed down on both of us. He reached over, brushing a tear from my cheek with his thumb. "Riley," he said softly, "I'm so sorry." I shook my head. "It's not your fault." I should have said more, done more. "You stood up for me. That's more than my own father did." He pulled me into his arms across the console, awkward but necessary. I buried my face in his shoulder and let myself fall apart. All the years of being second best. All the times Culla got new things while I got hand-me-downs. All the moments my achievements were downplayed while his failures were excused. Finally, I pulled back and looked at him. What if this is who she really is? What if she's always been this person and I just didn't want to see it? Oven's expression darkened. Then we deal with it, together. I couldn't sleep that night. Lying in bed, I kept replaying childhood memories like broken film reels. I was 7 when Culla was born. Before him, I was the center of my parents' world. After him, I became invisible. I remembered Mum missing my 8th grade graduation because Culla had a little league game. I remembered Dad canceling our father-daughter camping trip because Culla needed help with a science project he'd left until the last minute. I remembered being 14, winning the regional spelling bee. Mum's response, "That's nice, dear. Culla just made the basketball team." I came home with the trophy and set it on the shelf myself. It stayed there for exactly 2 days before Culla knocked it over playing indoor soccer. Mum never replaced it. I remembered applying to colleges. Culla was 12 then, and Mum told me to pick something close to home because the family might need you. I stayed local, got a marketing degree, landed a solid job. Culla barely graduated high school, bounced between 3 different community colleges, and now wanted to start a business with my wedding fund. There was one moment, though, one specific moment when I knew. I was 16. I'd been accepted into a summer program at a top university, full scholarship, incredible opportunity. Mum said no because someone needed to watch Culla while they went on a cruise. I stayed home. Culla was 14 and perfectly capable of staying alone. That was the moment, and I'd ignored it. Monday morning came too fast. I dragged myself to work, eyes puffy, head pounding. My marketing firm was small but intense, the kind of place where everyone noticed everything. I tried to hide in my cubicle, diving into campaign analytics and social media metrics. But my boss, Sandra, noticed immediately. She appeared at my desk at 10 sharp, coffee in hand. Concern written across her face. "Riley, my office, now." I followed her, stomach churning. Sandra was tough but fair. She'd mentored me for 3 years, helped me land the promotion to senior marketing coordinator. Her office was glass-walled, overlooking the entire floor. She closed the door and gestured to the chair. "What's going on? You look like you haven't slept in days." I tried to smile. "Just family stuff, I'm fine." "You're not fine. And I need you fine because we have the Morrison campaign launching next week." "I know, I'm on it. Everything's ready." Sandra leaned back, studying me. "Riley, I've known you long enough to know when something's wrong. Talk to me." I hesitated. Then the words spilled out. Not everything, just enough. Family tension, wedding stress, money problems. Sandra's expression shifted. "We need to talk, today, after lunch." The morning dragged on. I kept checking my phone, half expecting Mum to call and apologize. She didn't. Kyle posted on social media about his amazing new business opportunity with photos of himself looking entrepreneurial. My blood boiled. At 1, Sandra called me back to her office. This time, her expression was serious. She slid a folder across the desk. "Riley, we've had some complaints, anonymous ones, about your attitude, your work ethic, your commitment to the team." My heart stopped. What, from who? That's the thing, they're anonymous, but they're detailed. Specific. Someone knows your schedule, your projects, your responsibilities. I opened the folder. 3 printed emails, all claiming I was difficult, dramatic, constantly distracted by personal problems. All lies. Sandra continued, "HR flagged these. I defended you, obviously, but then I checked our visitor logs." She turned her computer screen toward me. "Someone named Kyle Morgan visited last Thursday. He said he was your brother dropping off lunch." My hands started shaking. "He never brought me lunch." I figured, "What's going on, Riley?" I stared at Kyle's signature on the digital log. He'd been here, in my workplace, sabotaging me. The realization hit like ice water. My family is trying to destroy me. I went straight to the bank during my lunch break, hands trembling as I logged into my account on my phone. The wedding fund account, the one Mum and I had set up 3 years ago when I first got engaged. It was supposed to be joint for contribution purposes, but all withdrawals required both signatures. Except Mum had removed every single contribution she'd ever made. Not just the recent transfer to Kyle. Everything. Years of deposits gone. Over $18,000 vanished. I checked the transaction history. She'd been moving money out slowly over the past 6 months. Small amounts. Careful, calculated. This wasn't impulsive. This wasn't about Kyle's business opportunity. She'd planned this. I sat in my car in the bank parking lot, staring at the screen. The dates lined up. She started withdrawing money right after Evan and I announced our wedding date. Right after we started booking vendors. Right after I showed her my dress. My phone buzzed. A text from Mum. "Riley, you're being childish. Call me." I blocked her number. Then I called the bank, explained the situation. The representative was sympathetic but clear. Joint account. She had every legal right to withdraw her contributions. Nothing I could do. I hung up and screamed into my steering wheel. That evening, Evan came home with takeout and found me sitting on the couch in the dark, still in my work clothes. He set the food down and sat beside me, not speaking, just present. Finally, I broke the silence. "Did you know?" "Know what?" "About my mother, about what she really thought of me." Evan's shoulders tensed. "Riley, tell me the truth." He took a deep breath. 3 months ago, I overheard her on the phone. I was at your parents' house helping your dad with the garage. I came inside to get water and she was in the kitchen. She didn't know I was there. What did she say? She called you difficult, dramatic, ungrateful. She said you'd always been the problem child, that Kyle was easier, that you expected too much. Tears burned my eyes. "And you didn't tell me." "I should have. I'm sorry. I thought maybe I misheard, or maybe it was just a bad day, or—" "You should have told me, Evan." "I know. I was trying to protect you." "From what? The truth. I had a right to know." He reached for my hand. I let him take it, but the anger stayed. Not at him exactly. At everything. At the betrayal that kept unfolding, layer after layer. I didn't sleep again. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Mum's face. I heard her voice. "You don't deserve what he does." I replayed every holiday, every birthday, every graduation. Every moment I'd made excuses for her behavior. Every time I'd convinced myself she loved us equally, just differently. At 3 in the morning, I got out of bed and made tea. Sat at the kitchen table in the dark. Evan found me there at dawn, still in the same position. "Riley, you need to sleep." "I can't." He sat across from me, morning light creeping through the window. "Talk to me." "This wasn't about money," I said, my voice hollow. "The wedding fund, Kyle's business, none of that matters. This was about making sure I knew my place, below him, always." Evan nodded slowly. "I think you're right. She's been doing this my whole life, and I let her. I kept trying to earn her approval, thinking if I just worked hard enough, achieved enough, was good enough, she'd finally see me." "Riley." "But she never will, because this isn't about what I do, it's about who I am, and for some reason, that's not enough for her." Evan reached across the table. "It's enough for me." I finally cried, deep, shaking sobs that emptied me out completely. And when I was done, I woke with one clear, cold thought. This wasn't about money. This was war. By Tuesday afternoon, I had answers. My cousin Jessica called, her voice tight with anger. "Riley, we need to talk about Kyle." "What about him?" "He's in serious trouble, financial trouble. It has been for over a year." I met her at a coffee shop downtown. Jessica worked at a bank, had access to information most people didn't. She slid a folder across the table, looking around nervously. "I shouldn't be showing you this, but your family. Kyle owes $73,000. Credit cards, personal loans, gambling debts. There's more, but that's what I could confirm." My hands went numb. Gambling. Online poker, sports betting. He's been doing it for years, apparently. Lost everything. Your mum co-signed on 3 different loans. She what? That's why she took your wedding fund. She's on the hook as guarantor. If Kyle defaults, and he will, they'll come after her assets. Your dad's retirement, the house. I stared at the papers, bank statements, loan agreements, Mum's signature over and over. She ruined me to save him. Jessica nodded. And she'll lose everything anyway. Kyle can't pay this back. His business idea, it's a fantasy. Does he know she gave him my money? Oh, he knows. He asked her to. I broke that night. Completely. Ugly crying, the kind where you can't catch your breath, where your whole body shakes. Evan held me on the bathroom floor while I fell apart. All the years of trying. All the sacrifices. All the times I'd put my family first. For this. To be the collateral damage in my mother's desperate attempt to save my brother from his own mistakes. I hate her, I whispered. I actually hate her. You're allowed to. I wanted her to love me. Just once I wanted to have enough. Evan pulled me closer. You are enough. You've always been enough. She's the one who's broken, not you. I cried until I had nothing left. Until my throat was raw and my eyes were swollen shut. Until exhaustion finally pulled me under. When I woke up the next morning, something had shifted. The grief was still there, heavy and aching, but underneath it, something else, something cold and clear and sharp. Evan found me at the kitchen table, laptop open, notepad covered in my handwriting. Riley. I looked up at him. Let me help you take them down the right way. He sat down slowly. What are you thinking? I'm thinking they showed me exactly who they are, and I'm going to show them exactly who I am. I didn't yell, didn't post angry social media rants, didn't call Mum and scream. Instead, I got strategic. First, I documented everything. Every text message from Mum over the past 3 years, every email, every conversation I could remember, written down with dates and details. I pulled bank statements showing my contributions to the wedding fund. I collected receipts from every vendor I'd already paid deposits to. Then I made a spreadsheet, every dollar I'd saved, every dollar Mum had contributed and then withdrawn. The total came to $26,000, my money tied up in an account she'd systematically drained. Evan watched me work, bringing coffee and food I barely touched. What's the plan? I need more information first, about Kyle's debts, about the loans Mum co-signed, about what happens if he defaults. You think he will? I know he will. Kyle's never finished anything in his life. This business will fail in 6 months, and when it does, Mum loses everything. And you want to make sure that happens. I looked up at him. I want to make sure everyone knows why it happens. I'm done protecting them. Evan nodded. Then let's do this properly. I know people, financial advisors, lawyers, people who can help. This isn't your fight. He leaned down, kissed my forehead. You're wrong. It became my fight the second your mother disrespected you at that table. Thursday morning, I met with Evan's friend Marcus, a forensic accountant who specialized in financial fraud. We sat in his downtown office, glass walls overlooking the city. I laid out everything. The wedding fund, Kyle's debts, Mum's co-signing. Marcus listened, taking notes, his expression growing darker. This is messy, he said finally. But there's something here. Your mother co-signed loans using information that might not have been entirely accurate. What do you mean? She listed assets and income that, if Kyle falsified any of it, could be considered fraud. If I dig and find discrepancies, this becomes much bigger than a family dispute. My heart pounded. How much bigger? Criminal charges, potentially. Bank fraud. Loan fraud. If your mother knowingly signed documents with false information, she's culpable. Evan leaned forward. And if she didn't know Kyle was lying? Then she's a victim too. But either way, the banks will want their money. They'll go after everything. The house, retirement accounts, savings. I sat back, processing. If this goes public, it ruins them. Marcus nodded. Completely. Evan looked at me. Riley, are you sure you want to do this? I thought about Mum's face, Her cold dismissal, her words, "You don't deserve what he does." I thought about every moment I'd been invisible. Yes, I'm sure. The hardest part was waiting. I stayed silent, polite, distant. When Mum texted, I responded with short, neutral replies. When she called, I let it go to voicemail, then texted back. "Busy at work, talk later." I didn't engage, didn't fight, just created space. 2 weeks passed. Marcus worked his magic, digging through records and statements. Kyle posted constantly about his new business, some kind of online consulting thing that made no sense. Mum commented on every post, proud and supportive. Then on a Friday afternoon, my phone rang. "Mum," I almost didn't answer, but something made me. "Riley, darling, I've been thinking I was too harsh. I'd like to help with the wedding planning again." I gripped the phone tighter. "Really?" "Of course. You're my daughter. I want your day to be special." Lies, all lies, but I played along. "That would be nice, Mum." "Wonderful. Let's meet for coffee tomorrow. You can show me what you've planned so far." I agreed, hung up, looked at Evan, who'd been listening. "She thinks I'm over it," I said. "Are you?" "Not even close, but she's about to think I am." Saturday morning, I met Mum at our usual cafe, binder in hand. She hugged me, all warmth and fake concern. "I've missed you, darling." We sat. I showed her the planning documents, carefully edited. Mentioned vendors, deposits, timelines. Then I tested her. "The photographer wants the final payment by the end of next month. It's $3,500. Mum didn't blink. "That's expensive." "It's what we agreed on. Remember, you said you'd cover photography." "Did I? I don't recall that." "Liar, we discussed it 6 months ago in detail. I had the email." "Are you sure, Mum? Because I have notes." "Riley, don't be difficult. I'm trying to help." I smiled, sweet, innocent. "Of course, sorry." Over the next week, I set small traps. Mentioned a florist payment Mum had promised. She denied it. Brought up the venue deposit she'd said she'd contribute to. She claimed I misunderstood. Every lie I documented. Every denial I recorded in my notes. Then Kyle made a mistake. We were at Sunday dinner, forced politeness filling the room. I mentioned needing to finalize catering numbers. Kyle, mouth full of roast beef, said, "Isn't the venue charging you like $8,000 for food? That's insane." I still went. "How do you know the catering cost?" He froze. "What?" "I never told you the catering cost. How do you know?" Mum jumped in quickly. "Riley, don't interrogate your brother." "I'm not. I'm just curious how he knows specific vendor pricing for my wedding." Kyle recovered, shrugging. "Mum must have mentioned it." "Did you, Mum, mention my private vendor contracts to Kyle?" Her face tightened. "We're family, we talk." "About my financial information, without my permission." "You're being paranoid." I smiled. Set down my fork. "Maybe. Or maybe you've been discussing my wedding plans with Kyle because you've been using my budget to justify taking my money." Silence. Dad coughed. "Riley, that's enough." "Is it? Because I think we're just getting started." I left before dessert. Behind me, I heard Mum hissing at Kyle. Perfect. Monday morning, I got called to HR. My stomach dropped. Sandra met me at the door, expression serious. "Riley, we need to talk about those complaints." "Okay." We investigated, traced the emails. They came from a public computer at the downtown library, but we pulled security footage. She turned on her laptop. A grainy video showed someone at a computer terminal, someone I recognized immediately. "Kyle." "He filed false complaints about me." Sandra nodded. "Which is technically corporate harassment. We're pursuing it legally." "What does that mean?" "It means we're pressing charges if we can identify him definitively. And Riley, your mother called last week. She wanted to speak to your supervisor about your performance issues." My blood ran cold. "She called my workplace." I didn't take the call, but yes, we logged it. "Can I request copies of everything?" "Already printed." She handed me a folder. Riley, I don't know what's happening with your family, but this crosses lines, professional lines. If you need support, the company will back you. I took the folder, hands shaking. Thank you. Sandra touched my arm. Whatever you're planning, do it smart. That night, everything started crumbling. Kyle's lenders began calling the house. I knew because Dad left me a voicemail, voice shaking. Riley, we need to talk. It's urgent. Family emergency. I didn't call back. Evan and I sat on the couch, my phone on the coffee table, watching it light up with ignored calls. 3 from Dad, 5 from Mum, 2 from Kyle himself. How long are you going to let them suffer? Evan asked quietly. As long as it takes. For what? For them to understand what they did to me. On Wednesday, Mum showed up at my apartment. I watched through the peephole as she knocked, called my name, knocked again. She stood there for 20 minutes before finally leaving. She texted, Riley, please, we need to talk. This is serious. I put my phone on silent. Thursday, Jessica called again. Riley, the bank is moving forward with collections. Your mum's house is at risk. She put it up as collateral for one of Kyle's loans. When? 6 months ago. At the same time, she started withdrawing from the wedding account. She knew Kyle would fail, and she chose to risk everything anyway. What are you going to do? Nothing, let it play out. Jessica was quiet. Riley, I know you're hurt, but this will destroy them. They destroyed me first. Then I found it, digging through old documents in a box at the back of my closet. Papers from 5 years ago, when Mum had asked me to sign something for a family emergency fund. I'd been 22, barely paying attention, trusted her completely. I read the document now, really read it. It wasn't an emergency fund. It was a personal loan application, and my signature was on it as a co-borrower for $15,000. I never agreed to that loan, never knew it existed, but there was my signature, shaky and young, next to Mum's confident scrawl. My hands shook. I pulled out my phone, took photos, called Marcus immediately. I need you to look at something, tonight. He came to the apartment, examined the papers. His expression went grim. Riley, this is forgery. If you didn't knowingly agree to this loan, if she misrepresented what you were signing, this is fraud. Can you prove it? The signature analysis alone would raise questions, but combined with everything else, the pattern of financial manipulation, yes, this is enough to bring everything down. Evan stood behind me, hand on my shoulder. What do you want to do? I looked at the papers, at my forged signature, at the evidence of my mother's betrayal. I want justice. Evan suggested we scale down the wedding. Elope, maybe. Just us and a few close friends. Remove my family from the equation entirely. We were lying in bed, his arm around me, moonlight streaming through the window. We could go to Hawaii, he said softly. Or somewhere in Europe, make it about us, not them. That's running away. That's choosing peace. I turned to face him. I appreciate what you're trying to do, but I'm not running, not from this. Riley, revenge won't make you feel better. This isn't revenge. This is accountability. What's the difference? Revenge is personal. Accountability is justice. He studied my face. You're really going to do this? Yes. Even if it destroys them. They destroyed themselves. I'm just making sure everyone sees it. He pulled me closer. Okay, then we do this together. But after all this is done, we step back. We build our life, our family, away from this toxicity. I promise. And you promise you won't lose yourself in this, that you'll know when to stop. I kissed him. I promise. But deep down, I wasn't sure that was true. Friday morning, I submitted everything. Every document, every text message, every email, every piece of evidence Marcus and I had compiled. I sent it all to the appropriate financial authorities, the bank handling Kyle's loans, the regulatory board overseeing loan fraud, a formal complaint about the forged signature on the personal loan. No accusations, no emotional appeals, just documents, cold, hard facts. Then I waited. 3 days later, Kyle received a notice. Court summons for loan default and possible fraud investigation. The documents requested his financial records, business plans, and all correspondence related to the loans he'd taken. I know because Jessica told me. She called, voice tight. "Riley, what did you do?" I told the truth. "They're going after Kyle, and your mum. The bank wants everything." "Good. Riley, this is your family." "No, the family doesn't steal from each other. Family doesn't lie. The family doesn't forge signatures." She was quiet. Then, "Your mum is falling apart." She should have thought about that before. I hung up. I felt nothing, just cold, clear purpose. Evan found me standing by the window, looking out at the city lights. No regrets. None. The next 2 weeks were chaotic. Kyle lost his apartment and couldn't make rent, moved back in with Mum and Dad. The lenders pursued Mum as guarantor, demanding immediate payment on 3 separate loans totaling $68,000. She didn't have it. Dad's retirement account got frozen pending legal review. I knew all this because people talked. Jessica, cousins, family friends who chose sides. Some called me heartless. Others said it was about time someone held Kyle accountable. I stayed silent. Went to work. I came home. I planned my wedding with vendors who'd never heard of my family drama. Then Mum called. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "Riley," her voice was broken, small. "Please, I need your help." "With what?" "The banks, the lawyers, they're taking everything. The house, our savings, everything." "I'm aware." "You have to help us. Talk to Evan. He has money. He can fix this." My grip tightened on the phone. "No." "Riley, please, I'm begging you. I'm your mother." "You stopped being my mother the day you stole my wedding fund to cover Kyle's gambling debts." Silence. Then, "How did you?" "I know everything, Mum. The loans, the forgery, all of it." "Riley, I was trying to protect the family." "By destroying me." "You were fine. You've always been fine." "I'm done, Mum. You made your choice. Now live with it." "You're really going to let us lose everything? You're really going to blame me for the consequences you created?" She started crying. "Please, I'm begging, save the family." "There is no family. Not anymore." I hung up. 3 days later, I met Mum at a cafe, her request. She looked terrible. Hair unwashed, eyes red, hands shaking around her coffee cup. Part of me felt guilty. Most of me felt nothing. "Thank you for meeting me," she said quietly. "What do you want?" "I want to explain, to apologize." "I'm listening." She took a breath. I panicked. Kyle was drowning, and I thought if I could just give him one more chance, he'd turn it around. I thought you'd be okay because you have Evan, and you're strong, and I don't matter as much as Kyle. That's not. Isn't it? Be honest, Mum. For once in your life, be honest. Her face crumpled. I thought you didn't need me. You were always so independent, so capable. Kyle needed help. He needed support. What I needed was a mother who saw me, who valued me, who didn't steal from me. I'm sorry. Are you? Or are you sorry you got caught? She started crying harder. Please, Riley, I'll do anything, just help us. I reached into my bag, pulled out a folder, slid it across the table. What's this? Open it. She did, her face went white. Inside were copies of everything. Bank statements, loan documents, the forged signature, text messages, emails, a complete timeline of her betrayal. This is what you did to me, I said calmly. Every lie, every theft, every manipulation, all documented. Riley. You didn't lose me, Mum. You gave me away. The folder contained everything. Proof that Mum had systematically drained the wedding account. Proof that she'd co-signed loans for Kyle using inflated asset valuations. Proof that she'd forged my signature on a loan 5 years ago. Proof that she'd called my workplace trying to sabotage my career. Everything. She stared at the papers, hands trembling. Where did you get all this? I'm thorough, unlike Kyle. You've been investigating us. I've been protecting myself, There's a difference. What are you going to do with this? I already did it. The banks have copies. The financial regulators have copies. Your lawyers will have copies soon. Her face was drained of color. You reported us. I reported the fraud, the forgery, the theft. I reported the truth. We'll lose everything. Yes. How can you be so cold? I leaned forward. You stole my wedding fund. You forged my signature. You tried to get me fired. You chose Kyle over me every single day of my life. And you want to know how I can be cold. Tears streamed down her face. I'm your mother. You were, past tense. Riley, please. I know I made mistakes, but this will destroy us. You destroyed yourself. I just made sure everyone knew about it. She reached for my hand. I pulled away. There has to be something I can do, some way to fix this. There isn't. What about the money, if I can pay you back? It's not about the money anymore. It's about respect, and you've never respected me. She sobbed openly now, not caring about the stares from other cafe patrons. I stood up, gathering my things. Every consequence you're facing is a result of your own choices, not mine, yours. Where does this leave us? It leaves you exactly where you put me, alone. I walked out of that cafe and didn't look back. The cool air hit my face, and for the first time in months, I felt light. Not happy exactly, but free. A month later, I got promoted at work. Senior marketing director, significant raise. Sandra called me into her office, smiling. Riley, you've shown incredible strength these past few months. The Morrison campaign was flawless. The team respects you. You earned this. HR sent a formal apology about the complaints. Acknowledged that the company had been used as a weapon against me by family members, and assured me it would never happen again. Kyle's business never launched. The website stayed half-built, social media accounts went dormant. He moved back home permanently. I heard through Jessica that he got a job at a warehouse. Minimum wage, night shifts. Mom and Dad managed to keep the house, barely. Sold their second car. Canceled their retirement plans. Dad went back to work part-time. Mom took extra shifts at the grocery store where she'd worked before I was born. They faced the fallout alone. No family rallying around them. People had chosen sides, and most chose truth over loyalty. I received exactly 3 texts from Mom over those weeks. I read none of them. Eventually, she stopped trying. Evan found me on the couch one evening, staring at nothing. How do you feel? Lighter. Any regrets? No, is that wrong? He pulled me close. No, it's survival. They hurt you. You protected yourself. It destroyed them. They destroyed themselves. You just refused to go down with them. What now? He kissed my forehead. Now we build our own life. We got married in October. Small ceremony in the mountains, surrounded by pine trees and crisp autumn air. 30 people. Oven's family, my college friends, Kukas who'd become like family. Sandra, Muckas, Jessica who chose me over family politics. No Mum, no Dad, no Kulla. I wore the ivory dress I'd picked out 2 years ago, paid for with my own money. Oven cried when he saw me. We wrote our own vows, promised to always choose each other, to build something better than what we'd come from. The reception was simple. Good food, great music, dancing under string lights as the sun set behind the mountains. People laughed, hugged, celebrated love without drama or tension. That night, lying in bed in our honeymoon suite, my phone buzzed. Email notification. From Mum. Subject line, please read. I stared at it, unnoticed. Are you going to open it? I thought about it, I really thought about it, then I archived it, unread. No. Never. Never. He smiled, pulled me close. Good. 3 months later, we bought a house. Nothing extravagant, just a 3-bedroom with a backyard and space to grow. We talked about kids, about the future, about building something healthy and whole. I never opened that email, never responded to the few attempts at contact that followed. Eventually, they stopped. I heard through distant relatives that Mum and Culla were still struggling, that they asked about me sometimes, that they wondered if I'd ever forgive them. I wouldn't. Forgiveness requires remorse, real remorse, not just regret over getting caught or facing consequences. They weren't sorry for hurting me. They were sorry for losing their safety net. Some people call it revenge, others call it cruel, but I call it choosing myself, finally. After 28 years of being invisible, of being second, of being the daughter who didn't deserve what her brother did, I chose myself. And I've never looked back. What would you do in this situation? Would you have helped your family or done exactly what I did? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss more stories about standing up for yourself when family lets you down. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is choose yourself first.